Cuba, a country suspended in time. Its capital, Havana, stands as the most populated city not just in the nation, but across the entire Caribbean, home to roughly 2.5 million people. But behind the pastel facades and vintage aesthetics, the nation has endured decades of crushing economic hardship and strict limitations. For ordinary citizens, everyday life is a series of serious struggles. They receive incredibly low salaries, food prices are skyrocketing, and accessing basic medicine is a daily battle. As of August 2025, daily life for the people of Cuba remains trapped in a deep, widespread crisis. The long-running United States embargo, combined with chronic shortages of electricity, food supplies, and fuel, has turned each sunrise into a continuous test of survival and human endurance. Let's look at the first harsh reality: the daily struggle for power. Literally, the national power grid is in a state of constant collapse. In October 2024, the island experienced a nearly week-long nationwide blackout. Imagine that. For almost 7 days, the entire country was plunged into total darkness. History repeated itself in May 2025, once again affecting Havana and many surrounding provinces. Mass power outages, lasting up to 20 hours a day, have transitioned from rare emergencies to regular occurrences. The consequences are devastating. Hospitals struggle to keep emergency care running, and children are left unable to study in the dark. Families have been forced to abandon modern conveniences, resorting to cooking with charcoal because gas stoves are simply paperweights without supply. The situation becomes even more dire when you realize that nature has been equally unforgiving to this island. Hurricane Idalia in 2023 obliterated over 2,000 homes and wiped out more than 5,000 hectares of vital crops. A punishing 6-month drought in Camagüey and Ciego de Avila caused corn, bean, and sugarcane yields to plummet by over 40%. Then came Hurricane Oscar in late October, claiming at least 7 lives and triggering another complete collapse of the power grid. Just weeks later, Hurricane Rafael struck western Cuba in early November, causing island-wide blackouts yet again and flooding vast areas of the western provinces. Since October 2024, the lights have flickered out countless times, driven by severe fuel shortages at power plants that are already obsolete and struggling to function. This fuel crisis has a domino effect. It has crippled the transportation network. Nearly 50% of public buses are out of service, making it incredibly difficult to transport goods across the island or for people to access distant pharmacies for medicine. The result? Food production has crashed by at least 50% compared to previous levels. Imports have been tightened, pushing the prices of staples like rice, cooking oil, and meat up by around 15 to 30% in just the first half of 2025. Many families now have no choice but to rely on humanitarian aid or grow their own vegetables on rooftops just to scrape by. The economic fallout extends far beyond mere inconvenience. It is a full-blown catastrophe. The Cuban peso has plummeted so dramatically that on the black market, the only real indicator of value, people now need up to 400 pesos to exchange for just a single US dollar. This devaluation has fueled a crushing inflation rate of 30%. Here lies the divide. Approximately 40% of the population has zero access to foreign currency. This means they are completely locked out of purchasing many essential goods and services that require dollars or euros. Put yourself in their shoes for a moment. Could you survive on a monthly income of $10 to $40? No explanation needed. Just comment yes or no below. A shocking report from 2024 revealed that 89% of the Cuban population now lives in extreme poverty. Let me repeat that for emphasis. Nearly 9 out of every 10 Cubans are living in extreme poverty, scraping by on state salaries that max out at around $40 a month. Even in the capital city of Havana, the standard monthly ration, what the government guarantees you is meager. Per person, it consists of just 2 kilograms of rice, half a kilogram of black beans, a small portion of chicken, and just over 2 kilograms of sugar. Children 1-year-old and younger are allocated only 1 liter of milk for the entire month. Everything else must be purchased separately at market prices that are often mathematically impossible for local families to afford. Agricultural products and meat are sold at state-run enterprises at prices rigidly set by the government. Furthermore, almost all private enterprise in this sector is forbidden. The laws are draconian. Anyone caught butchering a cow without a license can face a prison sentence of 15 to 20 years. Yet the gap between the haves and the have-nots is striking. In Havana neighborhoods like Vedado and Miramar, you will find attractive, modern homes owned by residents with solid financial means. By contrast, districts like Centro Habana and Old Havana are crowded with crumbling buildings and aging tenements, where several generations of the same family often share a single cramped living space. From the perspective of many locals, nearly every hardship, whether someone is late to work, lacks clean water, or struggles with low wages, can be traced back to one source. They will throw up their hands and tell you it's because of the embargo. Comment number 2 below to let me know you're still here with me, and let's continue for more eye-opening content. Fact number 3 brings us to the complex social underworld of Cuba. Unlike the famous red light districts you might find in Hamburg, Germany, or the walking streets of Pattaya, Thailand, Cuba operates very differently. You won't find a centralized district with dazzling neon lights and clearly marked windows. Instead, it feels more like an old town where the lines are blurred. According to visitors, the approach here isn't professional or organized. In Havana, entertainment services for tourists aren't concentrated in one official zone, but are scattered throughout the city, anywhere a tourist might walk. The most active spots are in the city center and the old town. When these women realize you're a tourist, they often proactively strike up a conversation. Initially, the approach is subtle. They frequently introduce themselves as massage therapists, operating in a gray area between legal services and other activities. Some work independently, while others are attached to spas. Since massage and spa services are legal industries in Cuba, shops openly list their prices. A 60-minute full-body massage might cost $30, while a 90-minute session is $40. This creates a confusing situation where legitimate services and thinly veiled solicitation exist side by side. Cuba has an open and liberal culture regarding these matters, similar to many other Latin American countries, so you will often see women openly chatting and negotiating prices with tourists right on the street. You might see some holding tiny bags of potatoes or small trinkets to sell, but in reality, they are often inviting customers to choose what they jokingly call the main course. What is particularly interesting is how honest and enthusiastic they are about their services. They will answer any question you ask without hesitation or shame. Generally, these women often work with European clients and can earn about $50 to $75 a day. They also get treated to meals and receive gifts, which represents a massive fortune compared to the average Cuban salary of $10 to $40 per month. If you've watched this far, we're thrilled to know you're enjoying the video. Please support us by liking and sharing this with your friends. And if you're watching on your phone, tap the thanks button right below. With all our hearts, we thank you for your love and support. Fact number 4 introduces the Ginateras of Cuba. Do not think of this service only in strictly sensual terms. In Cuba, the concept often blurs into hiring what amounts to a paid girlfriend. You can meet these women, go out to fine dinners with them, have fun in bars and discos, and have intimate contact if you choose. But the dynamic is often social. Some women do this strictly on the side, and they are specifically referred to as Ginateras. These aren't always full-time sex workers. Many have their own private lives and different legitimate professions by day. However, due to the crushing economic difficulties we discussed earlier, they maintain these paid friendships with tourists as a necessary side income to survive. This brings us to fact number 5, the ration system and the black market. In Cuba, there is a ration card shopping system known as the libreta. This system has been in place since the 1960s, originally aiming to provide guaranteed basic food access to millions of people. However, due to the dire state of the economy today, the food rations per household are shrinking in both size and scope. According to Reuters, in 2024, a Cuban citizen could buy 80 grams of bread per day with a ration card. Now, that amount has been slashed even further to just 60 grams. Moreover, this rationing system doesn't come close to meeting a population's entire food needs. Families must buy most of their food from peddlers or grocery stores at much higher, unsubsidized prices. This is where the secret stores come into play. Throughout Cuba, you will see many of these underground markets emerging because people are desperate to buy products from outside sources and sell them secretly. Locals flock to these hidden spots to buy groceries and medicines that have vanished from official shelves. According to locals, the government strictly forbids this type of sales. It is completely illegal. If authorities catch people operating these stores, they face prison time. But for many, the choice is stark. Either risk prison to sell these products or watch their families starve. Fact number 6, the mystery of Cuba's internet system. If someone were to ask which country is the least addicted to the internet, the answer would definitely be Cuba. To be more precise, Cuba ranks among the countries with the worst internet infrastructure on the planet. Currently, while about 70% to 73% of the Cuban population technically accesses the internet, mainly through mobile services, this comes with numerous infrastructural and economic limitations. The internet and mobile data are absolute luxuries. 1 hour of public Wi-Fi costs roughly $2. Remember, the average monthly salary is only $17 to $30. A 3G connection is even more of a luxury, and don't even think about 4G or 5G coverage being reliable. With so many people trying to connect to a single overloaded Wi-Fi network at public hotspots, the connection speed is painfully slow. In Cuba, the internet is often described as moving at a turtle's pace. Although there has been some improvement compared to the past, it remains incredibly sluggish and doesn't even meet regional averages. Streaming high-quality videos or having online meetings without constant freezing and lagging is simply a daily reality here. If you plan to work online from Cuba, you had better prepare to be extremely patient. Furthermore, app stores like the Apple App Store or Google Play often block Cuban citizens from downloading apps due to sanctions. For many years, Cubans have had to rely on an ingenious offline solution, downloading terabytes of data onto USB drives to share with one another physically. This has created a unique underground digital culture where people physically pass around hard drives containing cracked software, the latest movies, music, and YouTube videos, keeping the island connected to the world without ever logging on. Fact number 7 takes us to the streets, the daily odyssey of public transportation. The photogenic almendrones, those colorful American cars from the 1950s and 60s that appear in every tourist photo, are not just nostalgic decorations kept alive for show. They are vital collective taxis that travel fixed routes, packed tight with passengers who share both the ride and the cost. When you ride in one of these cars, you'll hear the roar of their adapted diesel engines, feel the human warmth of being pressed against strangers, and witness conversations that range from the rising price of rice to the latest baseball stats. Then there are the guaguas. The public buses waiting for them can be an exercise in infinite patience under the blistering Caribbean sun. You'll see how people help each other get on, how seats are given up to those who need them more, and witness a solidarity that has been forged through shared difficulty. While tourists move around in air-conditioned private taxis, the average Havana resident invests a considerable part of their day and energy simply going from one place to another. Each trip becomes a small adventure, a test of endurance that requires careful planning and immense patience. Fact number 8. Cuban cigars, a symbol of ultimate luxury. Cuban cigars have long been symbols of power, wealth, and craftsmanship. But behind the glamour lies a dark side that few connoisseurs know about. A high-quality Cuban cigar, such as a Cohiba, can cost thousands of dollars for a box, making it a luxury item that only the global elite can afford. However, this luxury comes with a profound paradox and injustice that reveals the contradictions of Cuban society. The production of Cuban cigars involves over 500 steps, from selecting the best tobacco leaves to the final, precise rolling of the cigar. Each leaf undergoes careful inspection for shape and quality before being handed over to skilled artisans. These artisans, with their expertise and dexterity, contribute significantly to the renowned reputation of Cuban cigars worldwide. However, these skilled craftspeople work under challenging economic conditions with incomes that don't remotely reflect the value of the products they create. While a single cigar they roll might sell for hundreds of dollars internationally, the person who made it earns the standard national salary, $10,000 to $40 per month. The legendary Cohiba brand, considered the highest quality cigar globally, has an interesting origin story. It began in the 1960s when Fidel Castro caught the aroma of a cigar being smoked by his bodyguard. After trying it, Castro demanded to know the creator and located the artisan, Eduardo Rivera. He then assembled a group of elite rollers and built a secret factory to produce these cigars exclusively for the top brass. Today, Cohibas are distributed in over 150 countries. Each year, Habanos SA hosts a glittering cigar festival in Havana. This 5-day event attracts wealthy enthusiasts from over 70 countries, creating a vibrant, luxurious atmosphere filled with smoke and money. However, this festival highlights a stark, painful divide. While international tourists sip premium rum and bid on expensive boxes inside, Cuban citizens live in scarcity just outside the venue walls. The famous tobacco farms in Pinar del Rio tell the same story. Tourists visit to watch skilled rollers and snap photos of the authentic experience. But behind the hospitable smiles are stories of difficult lives. The luxury and high price of these cigars do not reflect the hardships of the people who contribute to their fame, creating a painful paradox where a product that brings national pride cannot offer a better life to the workers who produce it. This economic reality leads us to fact number 9, the state of service. When you enter a restaurant in Cuba, it is best not to expect a warm welcome or fast service with a friendly smile. Many visitors notice that smiles seem to vanish the moment Cuban workers begin their shifts. This experience can feel unexpected and disappointing for tourists used to the customer is king mentality found elsewhere. While there are rare exceptions in high-end, tourist-focused locations where staff are trained to be attentive, in most state-run establishments, the service is often below standard. This isn't just about attitude, it is linked to deep systemic issues. Limited resources, difficult working environments, and most importantly, low employee motivation caused by tiny salaries all play a major role. It is hard to serve with a smile when you're worried about putting food on your own table. Fact number 10, the desperate wave of Cuban immigration. Migration to nations like France and the United States has been a defining feature of Cuban life for decades, marked by unfair treatment and immense hardship. The Cuban government has historically placed strict limits on citizens leaving, adding heavy paperwork and high costs just to maintain legal ties to their homeland. From 2022 to 2023, the situation reached a breaking point. About 425,000 Cubans, close to 4% of the nation's entire population, were stopped or detained by U.S. authorities while trying to enter the country. This is the largest wave of Cuban migration the U.S. has seen in many years, driven by the island's most severe economic crisis since the 1990s. Because Cubans do not need a visa to travel to Nicaragua, many choose to fly there and then begin a perilous journey by land. They pay smuggling groups thousands of dollars to help them reach the U.S. border. The full cost of this journey can rise to $7,000 per person. Compare that to the average monthly income in Cuba of roughly $15 to $40. It is a life's fortune spent on a chance for freedom. This mass departure places even more pressure on an economy that is already close to collapse. Worse, it tears families apart. Parents leave children behind. Siblings are scattered across the globe. While many leave in search of a better future, they often encounter serious dangers from human trafficking networks to the struggle of building a new life from zero in an unfamiliar land. Fact number 11 peels back the layers of the most defining political reality for the island: the deep-rooted reasons for the United States embargo. The Cuban government often describes this embargo as an endless storm that has battered the country for more than 60 years. To understand why, we have to look back. The embargo didn't start yesterday. It began in 1959 and has persisted through the leadership of presidents from Eisenhower and JFK to Clinton and Bush. While there was a slight easing during the Obama administration, who stated the embargo no longer served a purpose, restrictions were tightened once again under Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But what actually started this feud? The conflict traces directly back to the Cuban Revolution of 1959. During this volatile period, Fidel Castro and his revolutionaries overthrew the pro-American government of Fulgencio Batista. Almost immediately after seizing power, the new leadership nationalized land, factories, and major businesses. This included billions of dollars in property owned by American giants like Texaco and the United Fruit Company, all seized without proper compensation. Washington viewed these actions as unlawful theft and refused to recognize the new government. Tensions exploded in April 1961 with the Bay of Pigs invasion, a failed attempt by CIA-backed Cuban exiles to overthrow Castro. The failure was a humiliation for the U.S., pushing relations from cold to openly hostile. Then came the tipping point, the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, in response to U.S. nuclear missiles. Placed in Turkey, the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, less than 100 miles from Florida. It was the closest the world has ever come to nuclear annihilation. While the missiles were eventually removed, our final and perhaps most surprising fact concerns the extraordinary relationship between Vietnam and Cuba. It is a geopolitical anomaly. While the U.S., Cuba's closest neighbor, opposes it, Vietnam, located halfway across the globe, has stood as its most loyal brother. In August 2025, the Vietnam Red Cross launched the 65 Years of Vietnam-Cuba Solidarity campaign. It was unprecedented in scope, raising approximately $25 million USD by October 2025. For a developing nation to donate such a massive sum to a country thousands of miles away speaks volumes. This bond was forged in blood and history. In 1969, when Vietnam's President Ho Chi Minh passed away, Cuba declared 7 days of national mourning, a level of respect almost never seen for a foreign leader. 4 years later, in 1973, Fidel Castro became the only head of state to travel through heavy fighting to visit the front lines of the Vietnam War in Quang Tri. During that visit, Cuba didn't just offer words, they offered survival. They built the Thang Loi Hotel in Hanoi, established the Moc Chau dairy farm with 1,200 pregnant cows shipped from Cuba, and constructed a 500-bed hospital in Dong Hoi that saved countless lives. In the 1980s and 90s, when Vietnam faced a critical vaccine shortage and high infant mortality, it was Cuba that supplied the vaccines and trained Vietnamese doctors. Many healthy adults in Vietnam today owe their lives to Cuban medical science. Castro once famously declared that for Vietnam, Cuba is willing to shed its own blood. It is a relationship defined not by economics but by shared resilience. Fact number 13 reveals the country's most valuable export, and it isn't sugar or cigars, it's doctors. This is known as white coat diplomacy. While the world praises Cuba's medical system, there is a hidden economic reality behind it. The Cuban government rents out tens of thousands of doctors to countries like Venezuela, Brazil, and Qatar. This program brings in an estimated $6 to $8 billion annually, more than the entire tourism industry combined. But here's the secret catch. The doctors themselves see very little of that money. The Cuban government keeps between 75% to 90% of the salary paid by the host countries, leaving the doctors with a small stipend. While they still earn more than they would back in Havana, many human rights organizations have labeled this system a form of modern indentured servitude, where medical professionals are treated as economic commodities rather than heroes. Fact number 14 exposes the CDR, or the Committees for the Defense of the Revolution. If you walk through a Cuban neighborhood, you might notice people sitting on porches watching the street. They aren't just relaxing, they might be working. Established by Fidel Castro in 1960, the CDR is a neighborhood surveillance system that exists on almost every single block in the country. Their official job is community welfare, but their historical role has been to monitor counter-revolutionary activity. This means your own neighbors are tasked with reporting on you, who visits your house, what goods you are bringing in, and if you are criticizing the government. It has created a society of deep psychological tension, where trust is a luxury because Big Brother isn't a camera on a pole, it's the person living right next door. Fact number 15 explains how Cubans actually get their clothes and electronics. The Mule system. Walk into a Cuban home, and you might see a modern flat-screen TV or brand-name sneakers. How is this possible with no imports and empty stores? Enter the Mules. These are individuals, often Cuban Americans or locals with travel privileges, who fly back and forth to places like Panama, Mexico, or Miami. Their luggage is packed to the absolute limit, not with personal items, but with goods to sell on the black market. They are the unofficial Amazon Prime of Cuba. Nearly every modern item on the island arrived in someone's suitcase, bypassing the blockade and the state stores entirely. It is a shadowy, multi-million-dollar logistics network run entirely by ordinary people. Understanding these realities helps us see beyond the political rhetoric and the tourist attractions. It forces us to look at the human stories of 11 million people who navigate an incredibly challenging maze with remarkable resilience, creativity, and humor. What surprised you most about these secret facts? Did you know about the mules or the reality of the medical missions? Or do these revelations change how you think about this island suspended in time? We want to hear your voice. Share your thoughts, your debates, and your own stories in the comments below. We read them all and always look forward to hearing more from you. And please, if you found value in this deep dive, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. It helps us keep the lights on and allows us to bring you more uncovering documentaries just like this one. We'll see you again in our next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Your support truly means the world. Wishing you the best of luck. Take care and stay curious.